I was not prepared for how I would feel after I published my first novel. It sounds like this was a while ago. It wasn't, it was yesterday. Mary Arlan Breaking the Curse. It came out yesterday, and like you can buy the ebook now. You can theoretically buy the paperback book, but I'm having a little more trouble with that. And actually that's probably something I need to get on and sort of do. But when I used to go to convention, I would spend so long, like used to go to convention, like I actively don't want to go anymore. That's not what I mean. What I mean by used to go to convention is before the pandemic. But when I would go to convention in the before time, I would spend weeks and weeks and weeks, or possibly even months, building these costumes. And like fixing them up so that they looked nicer each time. Like even the costumes that was really settled in, even the ones that I thought were really good, I'd still do a little tweaking and try and make them a little better every time I would wear them. Because it's just what you do. I don't know, maybe it's just what I did. So I'd spend weeks and weeks and weeks building these costumes. And then I would go to convention for however long the convention lasted. So like with MCM, London, it's the full 3-day weekend. So you get Friday, Saturday and Sunday. And I used to get the full Friday, Saturday, Sunday tickets. Especially when I was living close to London, so it was quite easy to get to. And so I'd have these 3 different days worth of costumes. I'd have spent however long, weeks and weeks, months and months, building these 3 different costumes for convention, getting excited for it, making plans with my friends, making plans with myself, doing travel plans, doing food plans, doing all the plans. And then I'd get to the end of convention, I'd get to the Monday after convention, and I would usually, if I was working, I'd book the time off work. If I was studying, you can't really do that, but I'd like try and make sure that everything was kind of prepared in advance, so I didn't have to, so that everything was prepared in advance so that I didn't have to like do that much work on the Monday even when I was studying. And because most of the time on the Monday I would be absolutely wiped out. And I always kind of just thought that the wipe out was because I'd spent the last 3 days getting very little sleep, because you have to get up early to get into London if you don't live there, or often to travel across London. You get up early to get in early enough for like early bird tickets to be useful. And then wouldn't really leave until the convention was closing down at the end of the day, and then we'd travel all the way back home or to wherever we were staying, usually home at that point. And like it's so much fun, and I wouldn't trade those experiences for anything. And I always just assumed that I was wiped out on the Monday afterwards, or whatever day after convention, because I was just tired, right? Because you don't get a lot of sleep, you're walking around a lot, there's a lot of exertion, not eating properly, all that jazz, general convention, not taking care of myself very well stuff. So I'd be pretty wiped out on the Monday. And that was just normal, because I was tired. But now I'm starting to think about whether it was emotional wipeout as well. Because I've got the same sort of feeling post-book release. And I don't think people talk about it, because I think we're all, maybe other people don't get this, but there's the possibility here that maybe lots of people feel this way, but they don't want to talk about it because it makes them scared that people are going to think they didn't enjoy their book release, or people think that they don't like their own book. I love my book, I've read it enough times. But like, even sort of flicking through to make sure that my paperbacks are okay, or flicking through to make sure that the ebook turned out alright, I catch my eye on lines and bits of it, and I laugh and I smile and I get that sort of squishy feel in my chest, because it's a good book. And I love it to pieces, and like, I do not think this reflects on the quality of the book or the quality of my publishing experience or anything like that. I think it's just that we've been working on this thing for such a long time, and like, especially in just the week before release, it's so intense, and you are literally just head down working on getting this book out and marketing this book and doing all of that stuff that needs to be done, that when you get to the other end of it and the book is out, even if you have like a post-out marketing plan, which I really should have made, you probably are going to get that emotional drop, because you've been so focused and so excited and had so much of this build up, and now it's done. And that is hard to cope with. Like, I think just naturally as a human person, that is hard to cope with. And it's not a reflection on you or me or your publishing path or my publishing path or anything like that. It's perfectly normal. But it's really surprising because nobody talks about it. And it's quite hard to deal with. And like, I don't know if this is going to be a thing for every book I ever publish, and maybe this is why people don't talk about it, is because they don't want to talk about it on the first one, and they're like, oh well, if it happens again, maybe I'll talk about it then. And maybe it doesn't happen on book 2, I'll let you know. But between, oh wow, what do I do now feeling, and oh wow, how do I turn this into that, because that's a lot of work. I don't know, it's just overwhelming, it's daunting, it's the realization that this is out in the world now. People I don't know, and people I do know, have read it, and like, when I gave it to beta readers and critique partners and my wife and my mum, it was always with the understanding that it could be changed. I would give it to them and they would give me feedback and we would go from there. It was with the understanding that it wasn't the final form of this story. But now this is the final form of this story. This is it. This is what it looks like, and anything I write in this, in Mary Arlan 2, I know what the title is, it has to be beholden to this. And that's scary, because I've never done that before. The closest I've ever come is writing fan fiction, and even then you can throw canon out the window. You can do what you want with the canon. I can't do that here. And I'm glad that I'm now prepared for the potential drop for next time, because I think it is just entirely based in this. I've been so focused on something for such a long time, and now that thing has ended. In the same way that it was with conventions. I've been so focused on convention for such a long time, I've put so much work in, and now it's over, and I feel like I'm untethered and spinning into the ether. And I feel like I need someone to reach out a hand. But let's be honest, if I'm spinning out into space, I've got Grav Boots on. All I've got to do is flick the switch. You know? I don't normally do videos like this, because I like to be kind of like a positive resource channel. That's sort of my aim. But honestly, this might become a thing, if people like it, I guess. If people like my my post-book release drop. No. If people like just hearing about my experiences with stuff, I'm totally willing to share that. Tell me, if you've had a book release, tell me what it was like for you. Did you experience this? Maybe you didn't. I don't know, maybe it's someone else. Who knows? I guess we'll figure it out. That's how it works. Here we go. We'll do the next thing. That's how this goes. I'm going to flick on my Grav Boots. I'm going to land on some kind of piece of space rubble. And we are going to figure out what that space rubble is and we are going to travel it. I've got plenty of oxygen. I'll be fine. If you do want to see more videos like this, please do comment and let me know, because otherwise I won't know. I have a video coming out on Friday about NaNoWriMo. I've got a video next week about first drafts, and then my plan has died because that is when my plan ended and I haven't updated it yet. So if you have any requests, please do let me know that as well. All of the links to where to find me and my glorious, glorious, freshly released book, hot off the presses, Mary Arlan Breaking the Curse, an adult fantasy with action adventure, heapings of magic and a delightful, slow burn, heartwarming romance, is all available in the description box below, along with my Ko-fi account in case you just want to support the channel.